Okay, welcome to the Bronxville Planning Board for March. Appreciate folks coming out tonight. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes of the meeting of February 12th. Has everyone had a chance to peek at the minutes?
Yes.
Good, good. Any comments or corrections? If not, would someone like to move the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor? Okay, thanks, Christina. So let's move on to, we only have one item tonight. It's 85 Pondfield Road, the proposed contour med spa. If you could please, on behalf of the applicant, come to the mic and identify yourself, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ron Hoyna. My firm is Design Development Architects, and we're here this evening, obviously, for contour at 85 Pondfield. So the project actually is a change of use from retail to health, which requires us to come before the board this evening. So just a brief overview, it's a purely interior renovation. It's approximately 1,000 square feet of interior space. It's 1,044 technically. It's converting a vacant space that was previously retail into a health profession. And there are two real considerations when you go through the Kellard memo. One is the fact that in your downtown on Pondfield between Craft and Cedar, you don't permit that use on that street. But we do not have any frontage or presence on Pondfield. Our property is actually accessed from the rear, from the municipal side of the property. So we feel that we don't have any concern there. We missed that issue, and I think Kellard also agrees. The other piece is that there is a change in the parking requirement based on retail with a load of 3 parking spaces to health professional, which has a load of 5 parking spaces for the parking. And we literally face the municipal parking lot. So all of our customers are coming to the facility through the municipal lot and then coming on in. We don't have anything going on in the exterior right now. We will be back with a sign permit once the sign contractor is on board. And I believe that is it for me.
Can you explain what a medical spa is?
I do have Anthony here, who is the owner. You want to just come up and give it a...
Nice to meet you all. I'm Anthony Farias. I'm the owner of Contour Med Spa. So very nice to meet you all. So I partner with a plastic surgeon, and we're offering medical aesthetic procedures. So it's procedures that are more, well, I don't know how to describe it, sort of aesthetic in nature, but not invasive, that you would go to a plastic surgeon for, although she's a plastic surgeon, that you would not get surgery for, but it's sort of non-invasive procedures. So think of it as something that's in between maybe a regular spa that you would get and something that you would go to go under for a surgical invasive procedure.
So, for example?
Injectables, so think of Botox,
Botox
yeah, or fillers. We do threads. We do varying facials, what's called energy-based devices. So radio frequency, things of that nature.
Do you have other locations?
We do, yep. In Scarsdale is where our main location is, but I've heard that the Bronxville people are much nicer than the Scarsdale people.
And do you say the reverse to the Scarsdale Planning Board?
For what it's worth, I didn't go to the Scarsdale meeting.
And soon to be better looking, right?
Exactly. And actually, our director of operations, she actually teaches at the Soul Cycle here in Bronxville as well. So she was the one that recommended that Bronxville be our next location, and yeah, this opportunity.
Can you talk about the hours of operation?
Yeah, so it's Monday through Saturday, pretty much 10 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So just to follow up on Tom's question, in terms of the inputs and therefore the types of trash that would be resulting, it sounds like most of the things would be injectables or radio frequencies or light treatment, that kind of thing, where there's really no byproduct. Is that correct? Do you do like cryo slimming and other things like that? Or are there any things that would have where there would be some different type of medical waste that I'm not thinking of?
No, the only real waste would be maybe just, the syringes or needles, but those are, disposed of properly. Very similar to how the downstairs, New York Presbyterian, they have a box that you'll see. It's very similar to that. It's actually interesting, the lasers actually don't have any consumables on them, so there's actually no waste. It's just a light that goes over. And then you have these tips that are, they look like very small square cartridges. It's very minimal waste.
And how, I'm sorry, go ahead, finish up.
Is there anyone else in Bronxville that does this?
No.
I was thinking about staffing beyond the, doc who would be there. What staffing would you have?
Yeah, so we have nurse practitioners that are also doing the procedures as well. So it's all medical sort of person.
Typically, how many folks would be there, professionals?
It would probably be, so we'd have one front desk person, and then we'd have two, call it medical practitioners at one time, so 3 in total.
These would be like estheticians or?
Exactly, yeah. So usually one esthetician and then one nurse practitioner.
I think it's said up to 5.
Yeah, so we put that in there just to make sure, because sometimes if you if things get a bit busier, then you might need additional personnel, but I think on a regular way basis, it'd be closer to 3.
And do you do one patient at a time, or?
One patient per room, I would say, but we're gonna have multiple rooms. So 3 in theory at a time.
Okay.
But that would be like max capacity, and we've never really hit that yet.
Maybe if the architect could just take us through the drawings, just so we understand the interior layout.
Can I just go up to the screen?
And what was in this space before? I know it's empty now.
I thought it was tutoring
Yeah.
in that space. I thought it was a tutoring
Was
center.
it?
Bespoke tutoring.
Yeah. That's what the signage was.
All right, it says bespoke tutoring.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Pondfield. I'm looking at this drawing. This is Pondfield. And we're in the back, the community lot is back here.
If you can laser point from there, that'd be great.
Sorry.
I know your arm is
I'm a
out
little-
of commission, but thank
I'm a
you.
little out of,
Yeah.
So, again, based on this drawing, this is Pondfield, and this is the parking lot behind us, right? So,
And that's Apple Bank in front?
yes.
Yeah.
So our space is limited to this. Wow, I'm shaky. It's just this little L. This is a common core that goes up to the floor above. It's an elevator and a stair. So we've got exam rooms and bathrooms and some upfront waiting area, but I can't hold it still enough. So at a max, we have 1,000 square feet of usable space in the building, right? So you can see here, there you go. Exam, office, bathroom suite, which is common, and common corridor, right? So this is not us, this is us. And again, it's about 1,044 square feet, plus or minus.
It's not a very visible space. How are you going to get the word out about this? I guess that's more a question for the owner.
So we've been fortunate, actually, where Scarsdale has picked up a lot, and we're actually getting people from the Bronxville area that are coming over there. And so now we find kind of it to be a organic sort of means of expanding. The second piece is we've actually just brought on a marketing firm that's been pretty helpful in expanding. So to throw some numbers at you, if you're interested, we probably were getting about 2 to 3 patients per day in October, and we're probably up to about 6 to 7 now within the Scarsdale location. So it's been expanding pretty rapidly. And then the other thing too, again, is like I said, 2 of the practitioners, the director of operations, Leslie, again, is an instructor at the Soul Cycle here. And then one of our nurse practitioners is actually based out of Bronxville as well. So there's a lot of, it's a very strong sort of word of mouth type of business. Usually what happens is when you get work done and you're very happy about it, people are asking, and so you recommend where you got it done. And we have a pretty high repeat purchase rate, so 80% of our revenue is coming from repeat purchases, actually, which is, compared to the industry, it's closer to 65%, so we're pretty optimistic about the business.
How long are the treatments on average?
Depends on the procedure, but call it between 30 minutes, maybe call it 20 to 45 minutes. Now, what happens is there's the reason why we have a waiting room here too is because sometimes what happens is when you do the injectables, you have to do numbing, so you get like an Emlay cream, and so during that you need a numb. So even though the procedure itself is 20 to 40 minutes, there's a numbing that happens, which is an extra 20 minutes as well.
What can go wrong with the procedures, and what would you do about that?
Yeah, so so the main thing that goes wrong, that could go wrong, is an injection into a nerve or a vessel. That's never happened to us at all. We also have, as far as the varying degrees of medical attention, we have a plastic surgeon that's our medical director, which is considered sort of the creme de la creme of medical directors in this kind of field. And so there's never been any sort of adverse event. The second piece, too, is all of our practitioners, before they perform on we're very unique in this aspect, actually, is before any of our practitioners go solo, they have to do 200 hours of training. And so because of that, we feel like the practitioners are pretty well trained, and that's actually one of the key points of differentiation that we've received from customers. So the two main things that they really like about us is, one, the level of education, and two is actually the build out in Scarsdale. They find that it's the classiest and sort of the nicest compared to other med spas that they come to, and that's what's causing them to come back. And we've actually got a fair amount of walk-ins that come by as well.
Thank you.
The cost to do the modifications, I think, was $325,000, something like that. Does that include equipment, or is that just?
No, that's just the physical change to the space.
Okay.
So the equipment's already been purchased because the equipment's already been purchased because we got really good end of year deals. So I bought the equipment already. So that's being stored in a third-party location, and then like a shed.
So you're optimistic about this application?
So I am. I am. I think what's really unique about the partnership that Dr. Namath and I have is the fact that we sort of like to think of ourselves as bringing the best of both worlds, business and medical. She's a plastic surgeon. A lot of our patients are women. There's only 7,000 plastic surgeons in the U.S. Only 2,000 of them are women. And so to have a woman plastic surgeon that's doing the procedure to a highly women base is very obviously positive. We are looking at, I won't make any I won't insinuate anything here, but we are bringing men, doing some more men procedures with hair treatment. So that's a way to bring in more more male into the group. And then my line of work is I invest in healthcare businesses. And actually the way I got started into med spas is I invested in the products that go into the med spas. So I invested in a filler company, in a radio frequency company, in a peels business, and an exosome business.
So you've obviously, because you have the Scarsdale location, you've done like a cost of benefit analysis of how much the rent's going to be and what you project from the 4 to 5, whatever number of people you have, and you're pretty confident that you're going to be able to be successful right away or fairly close enough to the start?
Yeah, pretty quickly, because it's a high fixed cost business, and so we've already borne the main sort of fixed cost associated with the cost base.
Which is the equipment?
So it's the equipment, but it's also the personnel. And so the personnel are already there and they're already trained. And so the fact that we're now going to be getting more people in, that's going to allow them to be busier.
And they'll go between Scarsdale and Bronxville?
That same crew, yeah. So that's the thing. Whereas with Scarsdale, there was a bit of a ramp-up training period. These people are already trained, so we can hit the ground running. The other thing, too, is we're already starting a waiting list as well. So that could be an opportunity to sort of bring people in.
So what's the total number of trained people that you have that will service both Scarsdale and Bronxville?
So let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 6.
And so use 3 or so here would be sort of the standard, and then is the Scarsdale area a bigger unit?
No, it's
So 3 to 5?
600 square
Okay.
feet, yeah.
Thank you.
Smaller? Smaller than this. Oh, yeah, smaller than this, 600.
That's it for me.
Apparently, we in Bronxville need more work. Any other questions before we open up the public meeting? If not, why don't we go ahead and open up the public meeting, and seeing none, I think we'll quickly close the public meeting, and why don't we have a little discussion up here? Would anyone like to start?
Well, you mentioned the signage was coming a little bit later, and I'm sure, we have guidance around that in Bronxville. What are you anticipating in terms of the placement of that, and in terms of facing the lot, facing the walkway, the staircase?
Yeah, so the signage, obviously, we're proposing will be in the back of the building, because that's where all the cars are. It would be nice if we were able to get a placard or something sort of classy and small on the front, so that you could see when you're walking on Pondfield, that walkway, the alleyway will take you back to that space. But that package is being put together by a signage company, and we'll be here, well, we won't be before you guys, we'll be before the
It'll be
design
the
review.
design review committee.
Yeah, DRB will review it.
Other thoughts around the table?
I'm just assuming that you'll have window treatments, it's pretty open, in each of the offices, so nobody's looking in.
Yes.
Describe that to me, because we do have rules about,
So we have no street-facing windows. We're second floor facing the parking lot. So the window treatments wouldn't be, wouldn't these slats or blinds, so that you're not looking directly in at a procedure taking place, but there won't be blanked walls or windows.
are you talking about the window those windows?
So this is the common entrance to the building. That's an elevator and stair core, and we're back here and wrapped around. If you slide back the other way, if you could. So that is this. Our windows in the exam rooms are along this face, which look down onto the parking lot. So in reality, even if there were no window treatments, unless somebody was standing at the window, you won't see them. But just to give the customer the feel of not being exposed to people looking in, we would treat these windows, this L-shaped piece.
But you're not talking about what's planned for the front that faces the stairway there?
This piece here?
Yeah.
This can be open so that people can see that there's activity and that
Gotcha.
there's an operating business there.
Yeah, I
It'll
think
be,
that's the
yeah,
only-
we won't blank that.
Okay.
Other discussion?
I think it's fairly straightforward.
And as the new medical location goes, as they point out, it's not facing Pondfield. It's sort of a recessed kind of location, which
There's a
seems
lot of-
pretty ideal for this.
There's one below, and there's, I think, above is the physical therapy place. So there's a lot.
Right, there's also already medical use below it.
In the, yep.
And above, yeah.
So, yeah, it's.
So if there aren't more comments or questions, would someone like to make a motion?
Just one last
Yeah,
thing.
go ahead,
I
Jim.
assume that,
Kev, do you want to say something?
I don't think there's anything on the second floor anymore, so there's a medical or something, I think they moved out.
No, I'm referring to one floor down.
Isn't there, over the third floor, isn't there a physical therapy? Oh, they're gone? Okay. Okay. Right, but there's the single doctor down below, Dr. Flores. Yep, yep. Yep, thanks for the clarification.
And Jim, you had something?
we haven't specifically addressed the request to waive the requirement of the parking spaces, and I assume the lack of discussion means that there isn't a concern on the board about the 5 versus 3.
It's the perennial question, right? At least this faces onto the Garden Avenue lot, which provides some solution, but I doubt the prior tenant had proprietary parking spaces to solve this problem, and the current one won't either. It's sort of welcome to Bronxville, right?
So it sounds like we are sort of moving towards not requiring parking studies in these circumstances.
I think depending on the use, right? This is not a very intensive use. If someone wants to open up a private school in the space, I think we'll be talking.
Are they allowed to have special spots, 2 or 3, because or do they have to feed the meter like everyone else?
They're merchants, aren't they?
They don't get a merchant, yeah, do they get a? No, the people that own the place, say there's, let's pretend there's 3 people that are. They have to apply for a merchant spot?
And pay for that.
And is there merchant spots back there? Yeah, I don't think there is.
The last.
Well, there are some
I
merchant
think is
spots in the Garden Avenue lot.
Over by where, is that where you are?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some of us are right across the street.
I had a question, Kevin. There's work being done right now in the kind of entry area where the stairs are, and that's completely unrelated, and that's,
Apple Bank.
right.
And the bank would be your landlord, right?
I had one technical question, too. I noticed on where the notification is given to nearby residents, it's listed, one of the listings is Bronxville Towers Apartments. Is the notification given just to the building?
If they're individually owned, they're sent to everybody in the building. It depends.
And that doesn't show up on the, I think Bronxville Towers is,
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the assessor's office to get all the.
Okay.
Yeah.
gotcha.
There were quite a few.
Yeah, 'cause I think
Quite a
you go to
number,
the
quite a
county.
large number.
Yeah, if you go to the county, you don't get
No.
the resident, you have to go to the tax rolls.
I can testify that the neighbors got their certified mail.
Well, you're not in Bronxville Towers, so. Okay,
No,
that's good.
dead across the street. If no further comments, would someone like to make a motion?
I move that we accept the application and waive the requirement for a parking study or anything similar.
Do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Good luck.
Congratulations,
much.
good luck with your business.
Thank you.
Our next meeting will be in April. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Moved?
And a second, all in favor?
Favor.
Thanks, everyone.